my sweets, it's Keisha. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you for choosing to watch my video. Today I'm turning a Dollar Tree door grater into a cute gingerbread house decoration inspired by a gorgeous piece I spotted at Michael's. With just a few inexpensive supplies, you can create a custom budget-friendly holiday grater that's sure to make your holiday home feel festive. Let's get started. Some of the links in the description box are affiliate links, which means I may earn a small commission at no extra cost to you if you make a purchase. Thank you for supporting my channel. Project, I'll be using a 4-foot welcome sign from Dollar Tree, some craft wood, 2 pieces, some printouts, and various colors of paint. So I have my sign here, and it's a little bit too big for my area, so this is the top end of it. And what I want to do is create the roof, and I have these 2 pieces of craft wood from Dollar Tree. They measure 2 inches by 12 inches roughly, and so what I want to end up doing is creating like a roof situation like this, but I'm gonna need to do some cuts. So the first thing I want to do, I think this is the proper way to do it. I'm not an expert on cutting wood, but I'm gonna try something here. So I'm gonna mark off a line down the center. And also I didn't mention that I don't think I mentioned that I did go ahead and paint the sign with Waverly chalk paint in white, just as like a primer. And now I'm going to, let's see, so we have 9 1/4, so 4 1/2 and 2 ticks. Okay, so I know this is my center now, so I want to, because I want to keep it at the 4-foot length, but I know I'm going to need to cut some of it down. So this is the easiest way I could think of to make it do what I want it to do. So I think if I cut at an angle from where these 2 intersect, so from here to here, that'll give me the angle that I need for the roof. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and go get these cut down, and I will be back to measure out where I'm going to need to cut the actual sign. Okay, so I have my 2 pieces cut down here, and what I need to do now is determine where I need to cut on the sign. So I'm just going to lay these out how I want them to be attached, and then I'm going to mark on the sign where it needs to be cut. Unfortunately, these 2 pieces aren't the same width. They are slightly off, but I think it'll be okay. So what I'm going to do here is move this over slightly, stand up. And so I know I need to go across that way and across this way. Okay, so I'm going to end up cutting off from this side and this side. So I'm going to just mark an X here so that I know I'm going to be cutting those pieces off. I may also decide, depending on how this ends up looking, I may decide to go ahead and shorten these pieces. And I'll let you know about that. Also, I am, in full transparency, I am using a miter saw to cut these down, but you don't necessarily have to have that type of machinery to cut this down. This is a relatively thin piece of wood. Actually, both of these are relatively thin, so if you have just like a handsaw, a miter box for sure would work for this, and I would say like a handsaw wood work to cut this down, or a jigsaw if you have a jigsaw. So I'm going to go ahead and go cut this part down, and I will be back with the next step. So I've gotten the sign cut down to the correct angle that I want, and I also went ahead and took off another 3¼ inches off of these two boards here, and then I just give it a quick once over with the sanding block to knock down any rough edges. So now what I want to do is I'm going to paint these in the Waverly chalk paint in white. And I'm also going to go back over just the trim pieces on here because I want this to be white, and then I'm going to do a red stripe on top of it. And the edges aren't completely covered on this. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with that. And on these, I'm only going to be painting the top, the two sides, and this edge down here. I don't need this middle section or the back painted. Okay, so I'm just going to continue painting these, and once they are dry, I'll be back with the next step. Okay, so the paint has had a chance to dry on these, so now what I want to do is go ahead and paint them up with some sprinkles. And I have various colors of paint here, which I'll list in the description box below, the colors that I'm using. And then I'm also going to be using this Waverly chalk paint in crimson. So I want to make the sprinkles, and how I'm going to do that is I'm going to use the bottom end of this tool here, paintbrush, and I'm going to do some dots, and then I'm going to take this paintbrush and connect those dots. So let me go ahead and get the crimson open here. And so what I want to do is come in and just do one dot, and then another dot, and then I'm just going to take my smaller paintbrush, that's a flat paintbrush, and I'm just going to go in between. And there we have our sprinkle. Let me put this down so you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do the colors as randomly as I can over these two boards here, and then I'm going to let them dry. So I have the roof pieces already painted up, so I'm going to go ahead and set them off to the side so that they can dry down some more. And now I want to work on the frame of the sign. And so I have some painter's tape here, and this is about 1 inch wide. So what I want to do is tape off the stripes for the candy cane. So I'm going to go ahead and just start here with this one like this. And I'm going to bring it down to the inside and the outer side of the frame. So then I'm going to take this second smaller piece, and I'm going to use that as a divider. So I should move it down a little bit. That's a little bit better. And then I'm going to take another piece right up against it, and I'm going to press it down and press it down so it's in that crease on the inside. So you can see that there, and how it's going towards the inside. So I'm going to continue doing this all the way to the bottom edge of it. I'm not going to go across the bottom because it's not necessary for it to be there. So I'm not going to paint the very bottom of the border, but I'm going to end up doing this side as well. Okay, so I'm ready to go ahead and start painting in my stripes red. So I'm going to be using this crimson again by Waverly. And I'm just going to go ahead and get started. And you might notice that on the opposite side, there's no blue tape because I went to go start sticking it down. And so I had the first row down, like how I did this one, and then I went to do the spacer on there, and I put the second row down, and when I lifted the spacer piece up, all of the paint underneath that spacer came off with the tape. So I was like, what? Because, I don't know, I thought I had waited long enough. The first coat I had put on, I actually put it on last week, Friday, to be ready to start filming today, which is a Monday. And I thought I had let it dry for ample enough of time, but I guess not. So I didn't have any trouble with that on this side, obviously, because you saw me do the first couple of pieces on it. So what I had to do was I removed the tape that was already on there, and then I went through and scraped up the paint that was on there, and it easily chipped away. And then I sanded it. So I don't know if there was something in between the paint and the surface. I don't know what happened, but I was pretty shocked to see how that easily that paint came off. I'm hoping that it's not going to do that with this side, but I did go ahead and sand that side down and put down the first layer again. So yeah, that's why that side is looking a little bit different. So I'm going to go ahead and finish painting this. So I'm going to finish painting this side, and then I'm going to come back and do a second round, and then I'm going to pull the tape and let it dry completely while I continue to work on that side. So I'm going to go ahead and pull off the paint, not the paint, hopefully, knock on wood, that the paint isn't going to come off with, and look, I'm at the very bottom, sorry. And a big chunk of it just came out down here. Well, I'll go ahead and take off this long piece. So start from the middle and see what's going to happen here. Okay, I did have some bleed out underneath, and it looks like some of the paint peeled off on the inside there. Oh dear. Well, this isn't nearly, spoke too soon. I was going to say this isn't nearly as bad as what happened on that side, but okay. If this is all I have to, this right here is all I have to deal with on this side, then that's okay. Okay. So this isn't too bad on this side so far. Just have a couple more, 3 more pieces I need to pull off from down here. So what I'm going to do now is set this aside to fully dry. And then I'm going to come back with the next piece, the next part of the project that I want to do. And then I'll be painting and touching this all up, and hopefully it'll be ready for the time I'm ready to assemble. So I'll be back shortly. Next, what I have here is a printout that I made from Canva. And I have some other pieces too, but these are the last pieces that I need to complete. And I just wanted to show you how I set them up. So I have a old snack box here, a cereal box will do also for these, just to give them a little bit more body. I'm just going to cut off just a little bit more here. And I also spray sealed all of them on the front with Aleene's acrylic sealer in matte. Because they were printed on an inkjet, and I just want to make sure that the inks aren't going to bleed on me. So now I'm going to take some of this tacky glue, and I forgot a paintbrush. Okay, so I'm going to take the glue and a paintbrush and get this off. Okay. I'm going to place some glue. We're just going to spread out the glue to an even layer here. And I want to make sure it goes well outside the edges of the actual cutout, because I'm going to end up cutting it closer to the edge again. So I just want to make sure everything is glued down to this board. So I'm just going to take it now and just stick that down. I'm going to do that for these other two as well. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that these are fully secure on here. I'm just going around the edge and through the middle, and then I'm going to let this dry. And then once they're dry, I'll be able to cut them out. And this is what some of the other ones look like here. So I have some snowflake cookies, some gumdrops, windows. It's all of the things that I need to build on that sign. So I will be back once these are dry and they are cut out. So I got the peppermints all cut out here. So next what I want to do is go ahead and do the roof line. So what I'm going to do first, what I'm going to do first is get some glue out, and I'm going to be using this Type Bond premium wood glue. And I'm going to go ahead and put a bead of that right along here. And I'm just going to spread that out a little bit more with my paintbrush here. Now, the pieces of wood aren't the same width, so with thickness. So I'm going to flip it so it's face down. But I'm also going to be using a piece of tape. So I'm going to go ahead and set it up like that. I'm also going to use another piece of tape. I guess I shouldn't. I kind of want to use them like as a clamp. I'm just going to swing that around here and curve over one of the edges so it's easier to pull. Now I'm just going to set this aside to dry. I'm going to set it on a flat surface over here. Okay. So next I'm going to go ahead and bring the actual sign in. There we go. And so I went ahead and finished painting it. This color here is Folk Art Matte in the color Cinnamon, and that's the color I used over this whole thing. And then I left a little space down here at the bottom with just some white glue, white glue. Well, I'm sorry, white paint. So there's that. So what I need to do now is start putting on the pieces. Now, I did every last one of these. I covered them with this box, and I really didn't need to. I wasn't thinking. Mainly the ones that should have the cardboard on the back are the ones that are going to be on the outside here. So they just have a little bit more stability here. I just got carried away and put more of the backing on than I necessarily needed to. So what I'm going to do is start gluing these down, and I'm going to work from the bottom here and just continually slide it to go to the top. So I've got the door here, I've got some windows, a wreath, and then some little goodies here. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, and I will probably just put you on a fast forward while I build this. So while I wait for the roof to dry up here, I went ahead and placed down my Merry and Bright, and I have it on top of a piece of carbon paper so that I can just write on top of it. After my last experience with the scribble on the back method, I decided I wanted to try this to see if this would be any better. So I'm going to trace around all of the letters here, and I'm just using a white, color pencil so I can kind of see where I've already been on the black. And I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and then I'll be able to paint it in after. All right, So it looks like I got everything else, so I'm going to go ahead and get this painted. And before I start painting that in, I'm going to go ahead and apply the peppermints now. So they are meant to go on these 3 spots on the top of the house. So I'm going to go ahead and get some glue on them and get those glued down. Okay, and so now what I have here is my apple barrel multi-surface in satin white, and I'm going to go ahead and paint this in. So I'm just going to use this piece of paper here as my palette. Oop, okay. Okay. And I just have like a really fine marker here. Paintbrush. Wow. And I'm just gonna start painting it in. Okay, so this is gonna take me a little bit to fill in, and so I'm not gonna make you watch. So once I come back, the last thing I'll need to do is place a hanger on the back. I think I'm going to go ahead and use this inside of the home instead of, it's meant to be what are those, porch greeters? But I'm a little bit nervous because of the material it is. So I'm going to keep it inside of the house. And I'm going to put some command strips on the back of it so I can place it on a wall. And I'll put it by our front door. So when I return, it'll be for final pictures. I hope you had fun seeing how I transformed a simple Dollar Tree find into this adorable gingerbread door greeter. If you enjoyed this project, be sure to like and subscribe for more budget-friendly holiday ideas. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, happy crafting and happy holidays.